Unit 3, Political Participation. Political parties are a group of people who share the same ideas or beliefs, specifically about politics. Political platforms are the group of ideas or issues that a political party believes in. A plank is one particular issue that a political party believes in, such as the stance or their views on immigration, abortion, or public education. Major parties. Democrats. Democrats usually believe in equal rights for minorities. They are pro-choice and pro-gun control, which means they want fewer guns around. Democrats also believe in marriage equality, public education, and higher taxes to create more welfare systems. They are also called liberals or the left wing. They are represented by the color blue and the animal donkey. Major parties. Republicans. Republicans usually believe in stricter laws for abortion and immigration, but they believe in looser laws for guns and religious freedom. Republicans also believe in lower taxes because they believe in the free market or a free market economy. They are also called the GOP, which stands for Grand Old Party, the right wing, and conservatives. They are represented by the color they are represented by the color red and the animal, the elephant. Third parties almost never win. They don't have very much money or very many supporters. They represent people who don't want to be in the two major parties because they don't share the same values, beliefs, or ideas as major parties. Interest groups are focused on specific issues, usually just one. They have a specific group of members who are usually very wealthy. The three most important ones that you will need to know are the NRA, the AARP, and the NAACP. The NRA stands for National Rifle Association, and they support gun rights. The AARP stands for the American Association of Retired Persons, and they support people who are retired or finished working. Usually they care about making sure that older people, the elderly, get health care and other things that they need to continue living. The NAACP stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Persons, and they support African Americans and other minority groups in achieving equal rights and equal opportunities. Primary elections. Primary elections are the first set of elections to decide which person will represent each political party in the general election. They go state by state, which means they are not all on the same day. Iowa and New Hampshire are the first contests each time. The caucuses are when the state holds a meeting or an assembly where citizens get together and discuss their preferences for each candidate. Primaries are when the state holds an election where citizens vote for the candidate. After each contest, a candidate wins a certain number of delegates. These delegates vote for the candidates at the party's convention. Whoever has the most delegates will become the party's nominee, which means they will represent the party in the general election. There are two ways to win delegates. The first is proportional, and the second is winner takes all. In proportional, the states award the delegates proportionally, which means that if a candidate wins 30% of the vote, she or he will win 30% of the delegates. If a candidate wins 5% of the vote, that person will win 5% of the delegates. In winner take all, states award all of the delegates to the winner. That means if a candidate won more votes than any other, he or she would get all of the delegates for that state. Conventions. After all the primaries and caucuses are done, the delegates meet together at a convention or assembly to vote for the president and vice president to represent their party. Usually, the convention is also a time to excite and motivate the political party in addition to choosing the leader for the general election. The general election is when the candidates between the two major parties, Republicans and Democrats, face off against each other. The way to win the general election is by winning the Electoral College. There are a total of 538 electoral votes, and a candidate needs 270 electoral votes to win. A state receives their electoral votes based on the number of senators plus the number of representatives. For example, Maryland has 8 representatives and 2 senators, giving it a total of 10 electoral votes. States with a higher population have more electoral votes. Most states are winner-take-all for the Electoral College. That means even if a candidate wins by only 537 votes, that candidate will win all of the electoral votes from the state. The popular vote is the number of people who vote in the election. The winner of the popular vote does not always match the winner of the Electoral College. For example, in 2000, Al Gore won the popular vote, but he lost the electoral vote to George W. Bush, who became president. This also happened again in 2016, when Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, but Donald Trump won the electoral vote. Election and voting day versus inauguration. Election day is always the first Tuesday of November after the first Monday. So it can be anywhere from November 2nd to November 8th. Inauguration is when the president is sworn in. He takes the oath of office. Since the 1930s, inauguration is held on January 20th of the year after or following the election. Campaign finance, medias, and polls. Money rules. That means candidates with more funding or money can advertise more, which gives them more votes usually. Business and individual donation and limits. Individuals must be citizens in order to donate, and there is a limit to how much someone can donate to a specific candidate. That means someone with $1 million cannot donate all $1 million to that candidate. Soft money, however, goes to a political action committee, not a candidate. There is not a limit to the amount of soft money an individual can donate. For example, someone with $1 million can donate all that $1 million to a political action committee or organization. And that means the organization can spend money on any advertisements to support another candidate or to harm another candidate. The media also has an influence. Especially with news, the news decides which candidates to cover and how they cover them, which influences people's beliefs or opinion. For example, Donald Trump had gotten far more news coverage than any other candidate in the 2016 election, both for the primaries and the general election. Advertisements. There are advertisements from candidates and political action committees. Advertisements can be positive or negative to convince voters to vote one way or another. Finally, we have polls and surveys. Universities and news organizations ask people their opinion or views on candidates and political issues. These opinion polls try to predict how people will vote and why. This is the end of Unit 3 HSA review. Continue on to Unit 4 of HSA review in the next video.